TUHANARAK. 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 Oh boy. Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to be going over a new, really good legendary coming to the game for Raid Shadow Legends. We're going to go over everything from how to build, kit analysis, stat analysis, animations, how everything works. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, I want to take a second to shout out Butters for letting me hop onto the account here to do some testing, get some infographics and some content out for you, because anytime it's a void legendary like this, it's very hard for me to get my hands on it and be able to take it for a spin and get some content out for you guys. So thank you, Butters, I really appreciate it. But let's dive into the index and go under Barbarians, and then on the bottom left here of the legendary section, we have got TUHANARAK. Now, I have no idea how to say this name, so I'm sure you'll let me know down below. As you gathered from the intro, there's kind of a few different ways my head wants to go in terms of saying this. I guess I kind of naturally to say TUHANARAK, something like that. But if I am wrong, let me know. I would love to hear the exact pronunciation if I'm doing it wrong. And remember, as always, I do have an infographic down below in the pinned comment where you can see the general overview of the champion. Most notably, we don't really need attack on this champion at all. And if we're not building her as a damage dealer, we don't get much value out of crit either. But we've got a lot of different ways to build this champion. So there are some times where crit would make sense. This build right here that you see in the infographic is kind of a full support build. But if you're going to be going for more of a clan boss style thing or a hybrid build, you would want to go down the offense tree and take War Master probably. So just keep that in mind when you're pulling up the infographic and going over that. But that is down below if you want to take a look. Aesthetically, looks great, definitely fits the barbarian theme. Love the outfit, and Raid usually nails it on the aesthetics, but definitely no change here because TUHANARAK definitely looks incredible. Okay, so we've got base stat analysis. HP of 21, 645, not too bad, especially for a defense scaling champion, but the trade-off is the defense isn't insane. It's not like 1500 or anything. 1277, it's okay. The attack, completely worthless when we're building TUHANARAK. We don't want any attack. That number might as well be 0. Speed of 106 is pretty decent. Crit rate, crit damage, pretty par for the course, and then a base accuracy and resistance score of 50 between the two is pretty normal. That number is typically between like 20 and 70 when you add up the base accuracy and resistance. Then for the kit, we've got an A1 that's going to attack one enemy with a 30% chance that can be booked to 50, placing the big version of decreased speed for 2 turns. And then we're also going to place a 15% continuous heal buff on the champion for 1 turn, and then also target another 15% continuous heal to the ally with the lowest HP, and that scales with defense. And then if you're curious about the multiplier on the A1, it is a 4.1 times defense. Then for the A2, we've got attack one enemy. We can book it to a 3-turn cooldown, and a 100% chance of placing a decrease attack, the big version of that, and also a block buff for 2 turns. Now, also applies debuff spread, which is very rare in Raid. I'll show you exactly how that works here in a second. Taking 2 random debuffs from a target and placing it on all enemies, and then that damage is going to scale with defense and have a multiplier of 5.6. So the A2 going to hit a little bit harder than the A1 there. Then just to show you what that A2 looks like in action, because this is super important, we've got it selected there, Radiant Suffering. We hit something, it says debuff spread twice because it's taking 2 different debuffs. Then it tells you which ones, block buffs and block active skills. Let's see that again. We've got the A2, we select an enemy. It's not going to spread CC ones like sleep and freeze and stuff. So we're going to do debuff spread twice, and then decrease attack and block buffs are going to be the ones that spread across the whole team. So really nice to slow it down and show you exactly how that works, because it's a very rare mechanic in Raid. And just in that clip, we see a lot of situations where that could be insane value, because we can't spread like freeze and stuff. But imagine you have somebody with a single target block cooldown skills, and then you use the debuff spread to block the active skills for the whole team. That can definitely be insane value there, and it's one of the strongest ways to get a ton of value out of debuff spread. Then the A3 is going to be placed a 60% increased defense buff and a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 3 turns, and it can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Now, it's actually more rare than you think to have ally-wide big version of increased defense, and then we also on top of that get ally-wide increased speed on something we can book to a 3-turn cooldown. So that alone makes it a super cool ability. That is a very good supportive ability to bring to almost any team in any situation. Then we've also got a passive here that's going to remove one random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn. So kind of a Doom Priest sort of vibe going on there, but we're going to be removing 2 random debuffs instead from allies under a continuous heal, and she places those from her A1. So a great opportunity for like a Relentless set or a super high speed, something like a Doom Priest. Then we've got an aura here of ally accuracy in all battles by 70, which is a great aura because when you've got newer accounts or early mid-game type stuff where you don't have a developed great haul or you don't have really good banners yet to get a bunch of accuracy on the champions that need it, this would be a great account progression aura because 70 accuracy in all battles can be super helpful. But now let's head on over to the TUHANARAK built on this account, and we'll talk about the gearing, the booking process, and the masteries. Okay, here we are. You can see that we've got 3 speed sets and lots of speed coming down the line here on the build, which I think is great. Like I said, high speed, Relentless, anything like that. The more turns we're cranking out, the more continuous heals we're putting down, the more cleansing we're doing, and the more consistent we're keeping up that increased defense and increased speed. So definitely very good choice here to go with high speed, lots of Relentless, lots of turns, anything like that gets a lot of value out of her. And then that leads us into the banner, which is probably gonna want accuracy most of the time. We got to get value out of the decreased speed and the debuff spread. We need accuracy to do that kind of stuff. And then remember, we don't need attack when we are gearing her. So we want lots of defense, HP, speed, and accuracy. So for these 4 pieces right here that you see in this little quadrant, amulet, chest, glove, and ring, we just want the most defense and HP we can get while also prioritizing speed and accuracy. So lots of different ways to go there on those pieces. But the boots, you're almost always going to want to go speed. Remember, like I said, lots of turns cranking out is going to make the most sense in most builds for her. So let's try to keep the main stat on the boots as speed. Top ones are a little bit more self-explanatory, but there's those in case you want to see them. Remember, speed, accuracy, HP, and defense, which you can always see if you want on that infographic up in the top right. Speed, accuracy, defense, HP, and resistance are kind of the stats we're looking for. Not going to be building for crit and attack because we're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. But if you are going for a hybrid damage type build, then crit would make sense in that situation. Then for the booking process, okay, it's going to take 11 books in total. We've got the 4 plus 5 is 9, and then the 2 is 11 books. We've got 3 cooldowns up for grabs. We got the 1 here on the A2, and then the 2 here on the A3, and then we get a pretty significant 20% buff chance on the A1 as well. So given that TUHANARAK is a pretty good champion, nothing wrong with spending all 11 books to really extract a bunch more value out of her. Now, the masteries, lots of different ways you can go here. Lots of stuff going on because we do debuffing and buffing. So you can make an argument for Master Hexer and lasting gifts. You could also make an argument to go defense and support, like I did in the infographic that you see right here. That'd be like a full support build where we don't do any damage. This build right here, especially if I move the camera, this is more of a hybrid build where this would be more clan boss friendly. We go down the offense tree to do a little bit of damage and then take the War Master mastery right here. So really going to depend lots of different ways you can go with this champion. You're going to have to really weigh your options in terms of what is best for how you are using her. And then I'll show you a 12-3 run just so you can get a feel for the vibe of what the champion looks like in action. Animations will look decently fast. I always like that when some of these legacy champions, Lord Shazar, Duchess Lilitu, have really slow animations, even though they're pretty decent champions. So I know they're starting to address that more and more and release champions that are quicker, a little bit more snappy on the animations. Now, TUHANARAK in terms of the campaign, if you're a newer player, is probably not going to be a very good XP farmer, but could be pretty good in helping you 3-star certain content because of the defense and the speed and the continuous heals and all that type of stuff. But not going to be a good campaign farmer. Probably going to be taking like 45 seconds to farm 12-3 for you in the end game. So just keep that in mind if you were thinking about that. Then for playing with her in the arena, I think she could see some play in the tag team arena. Maybe not like God tier, S tier, platinum or anything, but definitely has a fun kit in any sort of defensive team where you've got time for the debuff spreading and the decreased speed and the passive cleansing and stuff going on. I could definitely see the right team built around her to get some value. Cleansing is always a great thing. Placing block buffs is always a great thing. So we've got lots of buff manipulation, which can get a lot of value in the arena. So any sort of defensive team you build around her for a sustained fight where you can kind of survive long enough to get value out of all that stuff is going to be really good. And now as we dive into the grading for TUHANARAK, I'm going to pull up the grades for my tier list right down there. And first of all, we got Barbarians Legendary Void overall of 9.2 is very good. Book value of 9 is awesome. Clan Boss, probably not going to be like the god tier, unkillable type thing, but could definitely make sense in the right team with the defense and the speed, the decreased attack and all that. Arena, good, gonna be solid, a little bit more in defensive teams than nuke type teams. Then XP Farmer, not a whole lot of AoE damage, probably not gonna be great in that role. Gonna be awesome in almost everything else though. Most notably, the Void Keep and the Arcane Keep. We're placing a lot of buffs, a lot of speed for the Arcane Keep, and then we're also gonna be doing cleansing of the poisons and doing some continuous heal to negate the poisons of the Void Keep. Just like absolute S tier for the Void Keep, but also has the block buffs and stuff for the Magic Keep. Going to be doing a lot of cool things in basically every area of the game. Can be pretty serviceable except for like being an XP farmer. And then in closing, I can pull up the infographic while we're kind of talking about my final thoughts and wrapping everything up here. So I think they did a good job on designing this champion. Honestly, there's not a whole lot I can complain about. I think is a really good champion without being like stupid broken or anything. Aesthetically cool. The kit is fun. It's got some fun stuff going on. It brings new stuff to the game in terms of debuff spread, not a very common thing. Also, ally-wide increased defense is more rare than you think. We get an expansion upon the passive like Doom Priest halves, which is very popular. People love using Doom Priest because of that passive. We're getting a little bit of cleansing coming out, and that mechanic getting a little bit more value snowballing with the A1. Some pretty good base stats. The 11 books is a little bit rough. I don't like it when they go over 10, but we have seen champions like Brackus with 16 and Pixneal with 18, which is obviously just a complete meme. We can't be having champions take that many legendary books given how hard they are to get. But yeah, a few different ways to build her, and definitely a strong addition to the raid roster in general. So as always, let me know down below where you agree, where you disagree. I enjoy hearing your perspectives on these champions as well. And as you see these links down below, they are subject to change. I will evolve my opinions based on community feedback, based on more testing that I do. So that's not necessarily a permanent rating or anything. That stuff can change as my opinion evolves and as I gain more knowledge about the game. That's the cool thing about a tier list that you're willing to update consistently, is you can kind of do your best to keep it as up to date as possible as the game changes and evolves. So let me know where you agree and disagree. And that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.